YouTube, welcome to Motorcycling with Carl. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the assembly of my new Haulmaster 1720 capacity foldable trailer that I purchased from Harbor Freight. Okay, in this video, what I did, first thing, I'm going to show you how I laid out all my parts and labeled all my bolts and nuts and everything. I do that. And then I've taken a picture of the steps that I'll be doing. All of that assembly is in fast motion. But in between segments and steps, I'll come in and I'll say, hey, I found this in these steps. You know, stuff that can help you, stuff I found that was wrong in the directions. Then I'll describe what the upcoming steps are going to be. That'll be in fast motion. And then I recap it at the end. And I am going to mark all of that with chapters, okay? So you don't have to sit through the whole half-hour video or however long it is. I know it's a long video. You might be tuning in just to find out one thing or whatever. You can go right to it, find it. I appreciate it, and I'd appreciate it if you subscribe and hit the like button. And just to let you know, probably could have did the basic assembly of this in, you know, a few hours, 4 or 5 hours, and then another few hours on the lighting and the trailer harnesses for the lighting, because I did a little extra above and beyond. You'll see that in the video. This video was filmed over the course of 2.5 weeks. I got sick for a week in the middle while I was making it, so I was doing a segment at a time here and there, so you'll see me in different clothes. You'll hear my voice where I'm not good. I have a cold, whatever, but I really hope you enjoy this video, and I hope it helps. If you have any questions or comments, or you need anything, put it in the comments, and I'm pretty good about answering stuff. So I really hope this video helps you. I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this and you're looking to make your trailer into a motorcycle haul-in trailer, I am going to customize this, and I will do a video on the customizing to make it able to haul a motorcycle. All right, so without waiting any further here, let's get started. All right, so here we are in the garage. I actually have all the frame laid out here for step 1 and step 2. I've laid all the parts out, and I'm ready to get assembling on that. And I put the bolts. I counted each bolt for the step, put it in a cup. So those bolts should all be gone when I'm done with this step. I went through, I separated all the parts, accounted for them all, numbered them. This is number 9 and 6. I identified all of these bolts, what number they are on the parts list. So when that number comes up, I know what to grab. This is the jug of number 44 nuts and bolts that are left here after step 1 and 2. These are a 17 millimeters, so I got 2 sockets, a wrench. I have an impact driver. I also have a square, so that before I actually sock them down, I'm going to make sure all the framework is square to each other. The other thing that I'm doing, not required, these are lock nuts, so they shouldn't fall off, but I am going to put a drop of blue removable Loctite on the bolts, because I did read in the comments somewhere that somebody said that these lock nuts didn't hold good, so doesn't hurt to put a drop on. I also bought this Max Flex clear coat, because what I'll do in the end when it's together, I'll spray a little clear over all the nuts and bolts, hopefully keep it from rusting. I'm going to be storing it inside, so hopefully it doesn't rust too bad anyway. So I am now going to get going with this. I'll set up the camera. Like I said, I'll put it in sped up motion while I do the step. After this step is done, I'll let you know any tricks I found out, any problems, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, talk to you after step 1 and step 2.
Step 1, Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
All right, there's step 1, the front part of the trailer, and step 2, the rear part of the trailer, complete. Things that I noticed, I put the top bolts in loose. I flipped it over. It doesn't tell you that on the instructions, but I flipped it over, put the 4 bottom bolts in. The center rail on both pieces, do not get bottom bolts at this time because something else is going to mount into there, I believe. I put the side brackets on where they call for them. The rear piece of the trailer does not have lower bolts in the front rail either. It only has lower bolts in the rear. There are no bolt holes underneath here, so you won't be able to put bolts in there. Also, I left these loose because when you merge these pieces up, you want everything to be lined up perfectly, and we'll tighten it at that time in step 3. Also, on the front piece is the flat hinge, and on the rear, you have the hinge that steps out. So this will slide over this when we put them together. So step 1 and step 2 are complete. And the other thing is, I really don't think you need the Loctite. The lock nuts seem to be pretty good. You could feel them gripping in and locking, but I still put it on there just to be safe. All right, so I'm getting ready to do steps 3 and 4, joining the 2 halves of the trailer together. It's going to be 2 bolts through the hinges and 2 bolts in the center ribs to join it together. But as you could see, in between the last segment and shooting this, I did go to Home Depot. I bought 2 2x3s, 8 foot long, cut them up into 1 foot sections, doubled them up, and I made blocks to lift the frame off the ground a little bit to make everything easier. Because in this step, you're joining them together, and there's the brackets for the front tongue. This way everything is off the ground and level, and when I flip it over to start working on it to do the other parts, if you didn't have the blocks, the hinges would be hitting the ground and it would be teetering on the hinges. So I think having the blocks is going to help when it's over. Even when you go to put the axle and everything on, you could put it up on blocks, make everything easier to work on. So like I said, Home Depot was cheap. It was like $6 for the two by 3s. Cut them into 1 foot sections, put some screws through them to hold the two of them together so nothing could really fall off. Just make your life a little easier. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do steps 3 and 4, which is pretty easy. It's 4 bolts joining this together. Talk to you in a minute. All right, so steps 3 and 4 are complete. At first, when I joined them, I put the 2 bolts that hold the 2 halves together, and they go in the holes closest to the center. I put those in, and then I tightened up the brackets on the side, put the bolts in, and as you saw in the fast motion there, I took the 2 center bolts out in the end, and I folded the trailer. That's the way it's going to fold. I made sure that it lined up and worked, and it looks good so far. So next segment, I'll probably do a bunch of steps at once. You know, if we look at the manual here, looks like maybe I'll be doing 7 to 9. I don't know. I'll see how many steps I get done through there. But in between steps here, I now have to flip the trailer over. So with the blocks of wood, if I just flipped it over, it would be laying on the hinges, and it would be teetering and unstable. But because I have the blocks, I could flip it over, have it somewhat level, and it won't be shaking. So, all right, on to the next steps. All right, so steps 6, 7, 8, and 9 are complete. putting on the front tongue, the L brackets. The only advice I have after doing it, make sure you put the bolts in, leave them loose. Drop this pin in here through the channel before you tighten any of this to make sure it's forward or back enough to get the pin through, and then tighten them. Do the same on both sides. And when you're mounting the front tongue pieces, kind of make sure everything is evenly square to the plates so that you're not pulling to one side or the other when you're trailering. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll answer everything the best I can. Right now the trailer is upside down. I'm gonna be moving on to steps 10, 11, 12, 13 next. I'll lay out the parts for that before we get started. So we'll move on to the next. All right, so I'm here. I'm getting ready to do steps 10 through 15, which is installing the spring bracket, the caster bracket, and the fender. So I laid all the parts out that we're gonna need for the first step, the springs here. So I'm gonna do this as a section. But as I was laying this out, I noticed when you put the spring bracket on here, it's sitting on a bolt there. I already have a bolt in that hole. So as I looked into this, all right, a long bolt goes in there. I went back, I looked at the steps, and when you go back and look, it shows you putting a bolt up in the bottom of this front section. So this bolt does not belong in there. The way I'm seeing it is that bolt should not be in there. It goes in this step, and it's a longer bolt. So I am gonna remove, the trailer's upside down right now. I'm gonna remove this bolt here, that bolt there, and I am gonna mount this bracket on with the bolt they're calling for, which is a longer bolt, number 36, okay? So just so you know, the instructions show you putting a bolt in here in the beginning, but it does not belong. So make sure you take that out so this thing sits down and you do it all the right way. All right, because the carriage bolts are here, and those are the ones that you're gonna have to remove along with the two inner ones here to fold your trailer up. All right, so I'll show you pictures of the steps, and then we'll have the fast motion of me doing these steps. All right, so steps 10 through 15 are done, but I want to show you a couple things. One, when I was doing this step in assembly, I just want to let you know that I missed this bolt right here on both sides. I noticed it and I put it in, okay? And so remember, I took this bolt out because it showed it going in the diagram, but it wasn't supposed to be there. That is right. What I also noticed is I'm looking at this, on this cross member, these two holes are here behind this. There's nothing else that goes there. So I'm like, well, why don't they put bolts in? So if you look on the directions here for this step, try to get in there close. It actually shows, there's the bracket for your sides if you're gonna use it. It shows a bolt in there. So I'm gonna say that we're gonna put bolts in there, all right? Because it's supposed to be there, but if you go back and you look at the initial steps, right, on the bottom of the trailer, for the front, it says no bolt in the center underneath, and on the rear, it points to the center and says no bolt on bottom. All right, so it's screwed up because there's not supposed to be a bolt in the back center bottom, but it shows it. There's supposed to be a bolt in the center bottom of the rear. So looking at it here, here's the casters, the middle bar, in the back. I am gonna put bolts in here because there's nothing else that goes here and no reason there shouldn't be a bolt in there. Okay, so some of the instructions, the diagrams are not right. So just know that. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll answer them best I can. All right, we'll see you for putting on the axle and the wheels and everything. That'll be the next step. All right, so I'm ready. I'm gonna be doing steps 16 through 19, which is attaching the springs and the axle. Just a couple things here. Doesn't say this in the direction, but I do have some bearing grease, and on the front of this spring where the bolt goes through the nylon piece in the spring, I'm gonna put a little grease in there. It doesn't say to, that's just me. Also, they call out an actual torque value for the nuts on the U-bolts of 15 foot-pounds. So I'll be using the torque wrench for that. All right, so I got my parts laid out. The springs, the U-bolts, the two bolts that go through. They say when you put the bolts for the springs in, do not tighten them at that point. Leave them loose. I guess after you get the axle on and tighten, then we'll tighten those down. All right, so I'll set up for the steps and talk to you before the next one. Steps 16 through 20 is done. I got the springs on and the axle on. As I said, I put a little grease in here on the nylon. Doesn't say you have to, but I did. I just put a little bit of the bearing grease on I had in there. So put everything together loose. You know, I had the torque wrench. I was able, once I started tightening the U-bolts, I was able to do a couple of them, but I really couldn't fit it in good. So I got a couple of them done. I got a feel for how tight they were, and then I just did the rest by hand. And then I also went back and tightened the 2 bolts. So there's also a hole in the plate that there's a pin that comes off of the axle comes off the back of the spring, I'm sorry, that sits through that hole. So make sure when you're tightening it, it's sitting flat on the spring and that piece comes through the hole. All right, so we'll see you for the next step, which will be putting the tires on. I'll talk to you about that. All right, so I'm about to do steps 20 through 28. Gonna put the wheels on the trailer. So you pop the dust caps off. They tell you to, slide the wheel on, tighten the castle nut down on the washer till you got drag on the wheel, back it off a little, put the cotter pin in. So that's all good. But I will definitely put bearing grease on the shaft of the axle, and I'll probably stuff some in the bearings. I know it comes with some in there, but there's hardly any in there. So I'll stuff some of that in. I don't have my grease gun here currently, but I will before I take this on the road. There is a Zerg fitting on the back there. I will pump these things full of grease. Super important to have a lot of grease on your bearings so that they don't burn out while you're on the road. So I'm going to set up the camera, I'll put the wheels on, and then I'm going to go directly to the next step, and I'm going to put the coupler on and the safety chains, and I'm going to mount all of the lights to the trailer. They show you doing it with the trailer in the upright position. I'm going to do it all with it still upside down. And then I'll come back and I'll talk to you before I actually do the wiring. Tell you some stuff that I'm going to do that's a little different than the book. So here we go.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good.
All right now, so the trailer now is all pretty much assembled. Okay, everything is put together on it. Your basic trailer. I have all the lights on and mounted. There's a hole behind the front side lights, but they must have used a different kind of light at some point where the wires would come right through into the frame. With these new LEDs, it's a flat surface there, so the wires won't come out the back. So, yeah, pretty simple assembly. So what I'm gonna do is I have to wire up the lights. I'm not gonna record that, but what I'll do is after I'm done doing the wiring, I will do a little segment showing you what I did, because there might be a trick or two that I'll show you. So I hope you're enjoying this video. So we'll wire the lights, I'll show you that, and then I gotta get this thing flipped over, and I will then fold it up to show you how it folds, how it stands, and hopefully it's gonna sit against the wall in my garage over there, kinda out of the way. We will see how that goes. All right, I'll talk to you after I get the wiring done. All right, so welcome back. The trailer base kit is now officially complete. I just did the trailer lights, and I'll show you what I ended up doing. We'll start at the front here. I actually went to Home Depot and bought this, the split flex tubing. I bought 3 packages of it, so I got 30 feet of the small size that I needed. Wasn't that expensive instead of just running the wire with the clips they give you. So I made a little harness in the front here. I taped that up, and then the white is your ground. I drilled and tapped the metal. So I put a ground screw in there, drilled, tapped, and I ground down the paint to bare metal underneath. And after I did these, I sprayed them with a clear coat, maybe keep them from rusting. So that's that. Then I ran the split tubing down in here, and I had to have these tie wraps from when I was doing solar panels. They have clips on them that'll clip onto a thinner piece of metal, and the tie wrap goes there. So I have this running down. I left the loop here so that it's clear of this pin coming through. Tied it here. I left a little bit of slack here because when I fold this trailer up, this piece is gonna come back. So hopefully this stays out of the way and will be clear. Haven't tested that yet. That'll be tested when I flip this over and we fold this up. Side marker lights here. Drilled and tapped the ground. Got my brown wire going in here. Now I did solder every single connection, so there's no wire nuts or squeeze connectors. So I came up here with the split. I split out of here to go to the marker lights. You can see, ran around to this side, and then we came down here. And what I did, just so you know, is I actually drilled and tapped up here, ran a white wire, drilled and tapped here, because this, I heard some comments that this trailer, because it folds, doesn't make a good ground at some of these points, and you'll have trouble with your lights. So I actually put a jumper in from here to this frame, and then from this frame, I came through and put a jumper all the way back to here, because this really doesn't bolt together too good, because this is where the fold is when you unbolt it. So yeah, so I put that wire jumper in, and what I did with the split tubing here was I left this loop, because when this folds, it's going to go back and it's going to need slack right there. So I put a loop there, down to the back, hit the back tail light. Like I said, every connection I have on inside of here is soldered with shrink tube. Came across the back, came over and hit this light. So I think that came out nice. It's a lot nicer than just running the bare wire with the, they give you 6 clips to clip the wire on. And as you can see, when I did this job to make it kind of nice and neat, you need a heck of a lot more than 6. So if you have any questions about this, leave it in the comments. I'll answer it the best I can. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I am gonna get this thing flipped over, and then we're gonna fold it up and see how that works. All right, see you in a minute. All right, so my trailer, as you can see, is now flipped over, and I want to show you guys how it folds up. This is the basic kit. I will be customizing it in another video, but I'm not going to show you guys me doing this, but I'm going to show you right now. To fold this up, you do have to remove 6 bolts. There's a carriage bolt that comes through the side, a carriage bolt that comes through the bottom here. That's the same on both sides. And then there's 2 bolts that join this center rib that have to come out. So in order to fold this up, you're gonna have to remove 6 bolts, and you'll have to end up taking the 2 pins out of the front. So I'm gonna set up the tripod with the camera, and you're gonna be able to see me fold this up. I'm gonna take the bolts out while it's not filming, so I don't drag this video out any longer, but watch the fold up. All right, there she is. My foldable trailer all folded up and tucked in the corner of my garage. Nice. Just what I was hoping for. All right, so wasn't very difficult. Everything was pretty easy. I put a little bit of extra effort into the wiring. Yeah, so very happy with it. Hope you tune in when I'm doing the customization to, make this to be able to haul my motorcycles. Also, when you fold this up, they don't give you anything to latch the 2 halves together. So when you go to pick it up, it would just fall down. I put this strap around it temporarily, but when there's plywood on it, I'll have to come up with a different way. Maybe I'll make some kind of permanent latch or hasp or something to get it to stay up. But I'll go over that when I do it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. It will help me out. All right. So until the next time, this is Carl saying laugh a lot, be nice, and stay safe.